L-E-S.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody, to Blame Your Brother. We are live tonight streaming the show on YouTube. So here's what you need to do right now. If you're listening, go subscribe to our YouTube. It's youtube.com/blameyourbrother. Turn those notifications on, and every Thursday night, come hang out with us, 8 p.m. Usually it's me and John, sometimes special guests, so you want to check all of it out. It's a fun time. This is all live. It's, and we put it up as it is, so come watch the chaos as it happens. youtube.com/blameyourbrother. And if you are hanging out with us, we appreciate you. Hit that like, thumbs up, whatever it's called button. I'm old. I don't know what the kids are calling it, but you'll see a thumbs up or like. If you missed that, that's okay. You can come grab the podcast every Friday on all the podcast platforms. If you're listening, obviously you've already done that, but you can do it in the future as well. We are Blame Your Brother. There's two of us that come to you every week. I'm one half of this duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, Voice People, Glenn Jackson, Spiritual Midget, Mr. Wonderful. And this gentleman sitting over to my left, it is the spokesperson for kidney stones across America. It is John.
Hey everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
There we go. So David, John, we will be talking at you, with you for the next hour or so. It's going to be a good time. A lot of topics to get to tonight, John. Disney is big in the news. We're going to uncover all that. COVID is apparently gone. Well, it's gone or it's back.
I don't
We'll
know.
we'll figure it out. Mike Tyson was on a plane. Some shenanigans happened. And tonight, the Mount Rushmore of notable movie deaths. So last year we did resurrections for Easter.
Yeah.
I think we need to do deaths for Easter. I mean, the genesis of Easter is
You can't come back from the dead if you
don't
haven't died.
Right. So that's that. So hang on. It's going to be a good one. Lots of great deaths in movies. Some tearjerkers, some comedy, some move the plot, some are made you jump out of your seat. So we're going to break all that down. We're halfway into the show. If you're listening right and you say, I just want to get to that, go about halfway in the show. I'm sure you'll get there. So let's get started, John. How was your past week? You still have not passed the kidney stone.
I still haven't passed the kidney stone.
Now, is it stone or stones, plural?
Stone.
It's just one.
Just one.
Are you sure?
I certainly hope so.
Is it like twins? Could there be one hiding
There's not
on the
twins.
other? All right, so one kidney stone. You still have not passed said kidney stone.
They said that, well, that doctors didn't tell me this. I looked it up.
Okay.
And they said it for a stone my size could take about 31 days to pass.
Ooh-wee.
So,
Baby.
yay.
You're not looking forward to that. So
No.
anything else going on with you this week? How's the week been treating you?
It's been a slow week, and I mean sometimes no news is good news.
That's
so,
true. No, that's most of the time. That's actually very true.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what happened with me this week. And nothing crazy, but my daughter got sick on Monday. I don't know. It all runs together. Yes, Monday, Tuesday. She got sick on Monday. She still had the fever Monday, so I had to stay with her Tuesday. She was getting better. But you've talked of this show that you watch. Me at my house, we were a Peppa Pig family. Yeah. We watched the Peppa Pig. So many episodes. I think I've seen them all. Well, now she jumped on a little show that you talked about in the past. It's called Bluey.
Bluey.
And I think in one setting, I may have watched or at least been in the room when every episode has played. I think I've seen them all. I got to talk about this Bluey because for parents out there, I had my doubts about this show. They were all wrong. This show is fantastic to watch kids, okay?
I'm telling you.
But let me tell you, man, I'm sitting there watching this show. The dad, okay, if we did the Mount Rushmore of great dads, he's probably one or two on the list.
Yeah.
He's a great dad. But here's the problem. He's such a great dad. He makes the rest of us look bad. He does things that I've never watched this show, John.
Yeah.
I've never watched it. I'm watching this dad going, holy crap, everything he's doing, like I've done those things.
Kid, yeah.
But no, I just think my jokes, my comedy.
Yeah.
I'm suing the show. I think they stole some of my bits. Or all dads are corny. I don't know, not all dads, but a lot of dads like me and John who
they coined the phrase dad joke.
Right.
For a reason.
Yes.
So
and like when he acts like a robot or he acts like or carries them around on their feet, it's all things I do, but that's not the point. It's a great show. I'm watching this show, bro, and there was an episode. There's a hardcore episode where a bird dies. and they explore like themes of death.
They do it well.
They do it well. But there was an episode, man, I know I'm a softy too. I'm a wimp. I admit it, bro. I'm not going to sit here, but I didn't cry, but there were tears in my eyes. I don't know what the episode was because, like I said, I was in the living room while she was watching it. We would watch it, go play, come back, watch it. You know how that goes. And there was an episode where he flashbacked, or the mom did, to when Bluey. Okay, so the family, if people are like, what the hell is Bluey? Bluey is a story. It's an Australian show.
They're
cartoon, number one.
They're healer dogs, which are sheep dogs.
They're dogs. Yeah, they're like human dogs. Like,
yeah, their other names are like names that you would give pets, but they're still humanized.
Right. So they got dad, mom, of course. Then they got Bingo is the younger daughter, and then Bluey's the main
the
daughter.
older daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was an episode, I don't know what happened before, but it flashed back to when Bluey took her first steps, and either the mom or the dad was looking back at it. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is like emotional, because it makes you just think like your kids grow up so fast and you can still remember like their first steps. And that was like such a moment in time. Like most parents can tell you, like the moment those kids took the steps, you know, you can go back to it. And now you have teenagers like, man, that was so long ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm just telling you, if you need something for your kids to watch, it is. So, yeah. So Robin says, oh, the episode of Bluey's First Steps got me bad at the end. That's the episode. The bird one was pretty hardcore as far as, you know, I think it was a very teachable episode. And I think like I said, it's a great, if you need something for your kids to watch, it is a great children's show if they're not watching it. And we've talked about this before. I've said this to you. I've said this to the world. The Australian accent is the best accent, bar none.
It's like the English accent if you were cool.
Right. I want an Australian accent. Like if I could go back in time, I think if you were a 5, like attractiveness 1 to 10, you're a 5. Australian accent bumps you up 2 automatically. I think you go automatic 2 points up for the accent. It's just the best. So I've been watching a lot of Bluey. I've watched like a lot of Bluey. So
the episode that gets me, sometimes they have episodes of like other characters.
Yeah.
And there's an episode where it was at like Bluey's, I guess, kindergarten or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was about these 2 other dogs, and one of them, his dad was in the military, but he didn't get to see him much.
Okay.
And this other one, he's got like ADD, and he just. The teacher was like, why don't you hang out with this kid? And she put the kid with ADD with this kid with the
military dad.
With the military dad. And the kid with the military dad is just everything military. And he's like, and he's doing all this stuff with this kid with ADD. If you want to be a good soldier, you got to do this. If you want to be a good soldier, you got to do that. And all the things that the kid with ADD thought he couldn't do.
Right.
It was kind of making up for it. But near the end of the episode, the kid with ADD is telling his mom about everything he did and his new friend and everything.
Yeah.
And turns out the kid's friend's dad came back on leave or whatever, and that kind of got me.
That's touching. Before we drop the Bluey talk, because I mean we could do a whole podcast about it, but there's an episode literally about the dad making a new friend with another dad. These are like deep themes, bro.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like it was so like as an adult, you know, like you don't make a lot of new friends as you get older. You just like you have acquaintances, but it's like I don't know I've made like a lot of new friends, you know. And this episode was about he runs into another dad at the park and they kind of talk to each other, but the kids keep interrupting them where they can't kind of bond well.
Yeah.
And the dad's like really looking forward to going there and like talking to this dad because you know I mean I think it addresses the whole thing of like if you're with your kids a lot, your kids become your entire world, right? You know, and so for you, a chance for you to hang out with another adult is pretty good. So, dude, a lot of great episodes. Kudos to whoever's making this show. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's my week. My birthday is Monday. I just want to say that. So if you
want to sing gifts or anything,
if you do, we'll take them. You know our social medias. Go find us.
You could double dip and use the Amazon affiliate link
there you
to
go.
buy those gifts.
You can send me gifts if you want to, but you don't have to. And we love all you guys. But y'all be 45 years old, so 45. In basketball, 45 was my number one year, so I love 45. And now, because of Trump, I hate 45. I hate the number because 45 is a great number.
Go back to Jordan wore that number for a while.
That's
so.
true. That's true. But I just think of Trump now. I
mean,
cannot stop.
You can go from the goat to a literal goat.
Right. Trump is back in the news. Obviously, he's always in the news.
He won't shut up.
I do want to tell you this. If you're looking for some fireworks maybe and you like Gotcha TV and all this, April 25th, my birthday, Monday, forget celebrating that. Piers Morgan is going to have Donald Trump on his show, and based on the teaser trailers they're showing, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Apparently, Donald Trump ended the interview early and he was upset. This is what Piers Morgan is saying. Donald Trump is saying it's been edited. So April 25th, look for that Piers Morgan interview because I'm going to try to check it out. I love it. Okay, let's talk about what's going on in the world. That's what we like to do. First off, let's hit COVID, okay? Now, this is what I love about America. People are going to look back and go, what was America's attributes that they had? I'm going to go, America loved to just ignore things that happen and just act like they never happened. I mean, you've got an entire generation of Republicans trying to do it with slavery right now. Apparently, they're trying to do it with gay people where you can't talk about them and they're banning books. So I guess we're just going to act like gay people don't exist anymore. COVID's another one where people just gave up. One day, I think the whole nation, for the most part, just said, yeah, we're out. Now, I will say that was made possible because of people that got vaccinated and people that wore masks and people that took precautions. And so I believe almost a third of the or more than that, I think 66% of the population is fully vaccinated or some type of vaccination. It's a very good number, based on what you hear. But they were still requiring it on planes and public transportation. Well, this week, a Florida judge, and I don't know how this works, a federal Florida judge said, nah, we're done with that. And so the rest of the country is just like, we're good. I guess the airline said, yeah, we're not going to require a mask anymore. I've seen clips of people on planes when this was announced, and it was as if we had won World War III. They were clapping so hard. They were almost mocking people on the plane wearing masks. And the airline pilot was like, you don't have to take off your mask, but you can, and I'm going to. And I'm like, what's going on here? So if you went on a plane ride, John, next week, would you wear your mask? What do you think? I mean, it's obviously a hypothetical, but... I
mean, I'd probably wear it.
I think it's
I'm fully vaccinated, but just being that close, it's confined space.
Thank you. You're not out in the public. This is a confined space where...
Yeah.
I would imagine if you went back and did statistics on flying, I would imagine people get very sick when they fly. Or I know they do when they come back from trips.
Yeah.
And I think because you're in this compressed area, there's no airflow.
Yeah.
And the germs are just flying. I think actually we should all be wearing masks on planes regardless. And I think what people have done is turn wearing a mask into like, oh, you're weak, bro. You're weak, man. You ain't have no natural immunity, man. You're weak. And so then it encourages people, like if, and human nature is like that, right? If we're in a room of 10 people and 9 people are not wearing a mask, you're probably not going to wear a mask, right? I mean, most people. Let's just be realistic here.
Yeah.
We are a group of people that bow into what the other people are doing in the
convention.
Room. Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that they're celebrating this is so bizarre. Even when there is a new variant coming our way, but apparently it's not as lethal.
I mean, a percentage of Congress had it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then there's another outbreak in Shanghai.
Oh.
Other side of the world.
Bro. Are we talking about Dude, I posted a video on our TikTok. You should go follow us on TikTok. If you're not, TikTok, just search for Blame Your Brother. I found a video of Shanghai, China. Legit, that looks like something out of a freaking movie. There are drones flying through the air, like watching you if you step out of your house. There are mechanical dog drones walking the streets, man. And if you come out of your house, that ain't gonna be good for you, man. You might get put in prison or something.
That's like some Black Mirror stuff.
It looks like it. Anyone go find it. Just search Shanghai COVID. It is wild. It does not even look like it is real. It looks like it's a movie. And I'm like, look, guys, the reason we're not doing that, I know all the right wingers, it's because we refuse to wear it. No, it's because people did that. It's because we didn't let it get out of control. Over there, it's too many people. It's too confined. I mean,
it's like living on an airplane.
Right. Yes. So that being said, I would love to hear if you guys hit us up on social media this week, or if you fly, would you wear a mask? And we got artists in the chat saying I would definitely wear my mask. And I think a lot of people that lean a certain way probably would. Some people don't. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. Look, I mean, you got to live your life. I think we kind of got past some part of it, and we're still going to struggle with it, and it's still going to affect people's lives. And, we as healthy people can be, glad, but there are people that died from this. There's a lot of people that died from it. So I think to make a mockery of it, and just the stuff I hear on the radio. I was picking up my son yesterday, and I like to just flip it over to conservative radio just for a few minutes, just get the flavor of what's going on in Flavortown, Republicanville. And this guy was literally saying the mask was just about control. That's all it was about. It was nothing but control. And I'm like, geez, man. But that leads into the next story. What do you know about Disney versus the Republicans, John? Have you heard this story?
I am assuming that this was all spurred on from the movie Turning Red, but it may
have been a snowball. But so the majority of this it began the Don't Say Gay bill. Now, if you're not familiar with the Don't Say Gay bill, we kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to give you a real quick recap of what it is. It's basically a bill. I want to go to my notes here. It's a bill that eliminates any talk of sexuality in schools, right? But here became the problem with this. So back in 2005, Texas attempted to do something like this, and so now they're doing it again. The Don't Say Gay bill is so broadly defined that it effectively bans all discussion of gender and sexuality, including that of heteronormative relationships and biological sex. As a result, parents are being informed that from now on, their children will no longer be referred to with gendered pronouns, but instead the neutral they or them in all discussion or mention of subjects that potentially refer to sexuality are banned, including heterosexual relationships and families, because you can't say you have a husband or wife to your class because that would discuss your sexuality, which is banned in the classroom. Some teachers are doing this in protest of the bill, but others are doing it because the bill is so poorly thought through and worded that it effectively forces them to. If a teacher refers to a cis girl as she or her, a parent could take the school to court, which I've said to people on the first day of class when the teacher, which they do every year, shows the slideshow, hey, this is my family, this is my husband, this is my wife. You should take them to court immediately. You should take the school to court because they have banned this bill that Republicans thought was going to stop the talking about, gay, trans, whatever. It's as if they believe that teachers are grooming these children. It's ridiculous. Look, if a kid has two moms, two dads, he has this or that, kids talk about whatever. They don't really have a filter. They're seeing the world through unfiltered eyes. They don't know. So they'll go to another kid and go, hey, I got two moms at home. What about you? And they'll go up to the teacher, hey, teacher, why is this? And they can no longer process it. Look, like I've said before, obviously I don't want sex ed being taught to my kindergartner or my first grader or my second grader or my third grader, right?
Yeah.
This bill is ridiculous. But anyway, Disney has a lot of gay and trans employees. And this bill kind of started in Florida with Ron DeSantis. Now, if you don't know who Ron DeSantis is, he might be the next generation of Republicans, Trump. He is a Florida governor. He's very right-leaning. Very right-leaning. So anyways, he sponsored the bill. Disney came out and said, we're against the bill. We don't like this. It's bad. So now Ron DeSantis is saying, okay, Disney, you want to play games? So I'm sure most people know, or maybe they don't know. Disney is effectively its own city. It can make its own decisions about utilities, ambulance, police, taxes, transportation, everything. It's effectively its own city. You can see why. Very popular place.
It's huge.
It's huge, makes lots of money. I mean, most people, they fine. Who cares? They're not abusing anything. There's no stories of there's stories of abuse everywhere in the world, but there's no rampant abuse at Disney. They're obviously in the money business. But Ron DeSantis is going, you doing this now, we're going to strip you of those rights. And you're going to be just a regular place. You will not get any more tax breaks. You will not get any more. You will have to make every decision you make will have to go through council or your representatives. And that could take a long time. I mean, trust me, if you know anything about the government, these decisions can take a long time. So now they're at a crossroads. This could effectively,
and Disney, it's a theme park, and they change up their rides for obvious reasons.
Yes.
I mean, every time a new Disney movie comes out, they have to update a ride somewhere.
Right. Yes.
And so whenever they want to update a ride, they would have to go through all these zoning prospects and things like that to get that done.
Right. So the specifics is it is called the Reedy Creek Improvement Act. It's a 55-year-old act that's been in there. It's a unique Florida law that allows the entertainment giant to operate as an independent government around its Orlando area themed parks. And like I say, this becomes after, DeSantis and Disney or I don't know who the feud is with, but
that's politics at its best.
But let's go. We're gonna listen to a little clip right here. This is my I love this guy so much, guys. I love Ted Cruz with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I love him because he's such a moron. He gives me such content. And this is what Mr. Cruz said at some event. And here we go. I'm just going to play it. John's never heard this before, but you're going to love this. Here we go.
There are people who are misguided, trying to drive, Disney stepping in saying, in every episode now they're going to have, Mickey and Pluto going at it. Like, really?
Thank you for that image, Senator.
Now this is Ted Cruz. This is legit, bro. This is not me. You heard the clip.
I mean, we need to take this into consideration.
Okay,
this is
go
the
ahead.
same guy who was super ticked off at Trump years ago,
Right.
for saying similar things, bringing up similar imagery during the debates.
Yes. And now he's flip-flop. So this is the man also that went after Big Bird. He called Big Bird a communist.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's insinuating that Mickey Mouse and Pluto are having relations with each other. And my biggest problem with that is that's bestiality, brother. That's not even gay.
Yeah.
Gay would be Donald and Mickey getting it on. He's taking it to another step of bestiality. He's insinuating that Disney...
That Mickey went and got a pet.
Yes. Go ahead.
He was like, I'm going to go to the pet store so I can have relations with this pet.
It's why, and he's insinuating that Disney actually does this. They're actually putting this on the air. Brother, I've watched a lot of kids' cartoons. I've never seen anything remotely close to that. And I've just watched a show about a family of dogs. I don't even know if they're even having relations with each other. It just may be magical dogs popping up. This stuff, and they in the room laughed at this too. I mean, I laughed, I think, because it was very uncomfortable. And I always say, you've always been around one weird person in your life. Like, we've all met somebody, and they say something, and they look around the room like, yeah, we all think that, right? And you're like, nah, bro, that's
all you.
That's literally you. This is a Ted Cruz moment right here. For the man to say that Disney is encouraging this is borderline insanity. So all the Republicans now are attacking the Disney thing. And so, God, I wish I could get this one because there's one, I can't get it. But as I was listening to the radio last night, this guy was on there and he was talking about Disney. And he said literally on the show that if you take your kids to Disney, you are effectively endangering your child and you are corrupting them for the rest of their life because you have let Disney win. This is their battle, John. This is the Republicans' battle, bro. They're fighting a cartoon mouse because they think this is what... I don't know what they think, John. Please tell me what...
Russia, Ukraine, get out of the way. No. We got bigger mice to fry.
I mean, we got gas prices on the rise. We got inflation. We got a possible recession coming our way. And the Republicans will put all that on Biden. Okay, sure, guys. Go ahead. Yeah, it was all Biden's fault. He did it all in 2 years. He also affected the gas prices in other countries. So apparently he's the emperor of the world, if you didn't get the memo. This is what they're focusing on. And this is an entire wing of the Republican Party that believes in this insanity. I just don't understand it. I don't understand. What are they going for? Are they acting...
Was Trump the line in the sand where Republicans just went retarded?
I think so. I mean, you can't say that, but
I mean,
you said it.
I said it.
Mentally challenged.
Mentally, whatever.
That would be in the old
Off
days.
the rails.
Yes, off the rails. Yeah, I think it is. I think there were a number. I think
there was a light switch of people who were like, we're just for smaller government.
Yes, the Tea Party, right? So the Tea Party kind of started it. You get some fringe people, but you would look at people and go, we're not really with them, right? Trump brought it into the light and made it acceptable.
Was it like, yeah, I mean, with Trump, and then like he since I guess QAnon was backing him.
Yes.
So he was like, yeah, everything they say is true.
It's true, yeah.
And so I guess that's where all the nuts came out of the woodwork.
I think so. I think it's akin to the Marvel movies, right? We, like me, John, other people, we loved comic books, right? But we never like went on top of a hill and I never shouted out, I love comic books. I love wrestling. I never said these things. I loved them my whole life.
I remember I used to play D&D.
Yes.
With the group of friends.
Yes, he did.
And when I was in 11th grade, one of the kids that I played with was in my English class.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and out him. His name's Corey.
Okay.
So Corey
not Corey, my brother-in-law.
No,
but anyways, go ahead.
And so Corey's like, it was cool when I got that +2 sword last night, wasn't it? I'm like, man, there's some things you just don't talk about in public.
John was petrified people would find out.
Man, don't talk about stuff like that in here.
But
people can hear you.
Yes, right. And so you were scared. But when the Marvel movies came out and when wrestling went mainstream, now it was cool to talk about these things. It was cool to be a comic book guy. And I think Trump did the same thing for these insane people who they are. I mean, I work with some of these people. I'm at the point I don't even want to talk to them because I'm like, we can't have a rational, like, look, if you want to stay Republican, that's cool. I get it. But I asked the other day, the question was, who is a better human being? I didn't say, take the politics aside. If you worked with a guy named Donald Trump, who acts the way Trump was, and a guy named Joseph Biden, who would you say is the better person? Not a policy, just a better person. These people will not say Biden. They refuse to say it. I'm like, dude, listen to the things Trump has said about his own daughter. That already, if you worked with a guy and he was going on all the time about, yo, my daughter's so hot, dude. If I wasn't her dad, I'd be dating her. You would never talk to that guy again.
No, I wouldn't.
You'd be, I'm out. Like, I'm out, dude. And I may report you to someone. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. It's crazy. All right, let's jump into a funny story where we can get to our Mount Rushmore. You know Mike Tyson, John. I mean,
I know.
This man was, at one point, the baddest man on the planet, right? I mean, in a time...
The only thing that could defeat Mike Tyson was the letter S.
Go ahead.
That's it. That's all
You're not going to disband on that?
No.
Okay, well, what...
Just in case he listens to this.
He might. What would happen if you're on a plane, you got your mask on, maybe you don't have your mask on, whatever. Envision your own scenario. You look over... Mike Tyson is in front of you. What would you do, John? Would you at least ask maybe for an autograph? Would you say anything? Maybe he sees you. What do you think? If it was
any other celebrity, there's certain celebrities that I'm thinking they might be a little too crazy to approach.
Right.
Like your Kanye's, I wouldn't talk to Kanye. I think Mike Tyson might be on that list. I think I might be afraid to.
I agree. Let me read you this headline.
As one of those celebrities, I mean. Anybody else, I might say something to, but
he's
probably not him.
He's one. I mean, I would probably have to at least just say hi. But anyway, I'm gonna read the story. Shocking moment when Mike Tyson loses his cool and unleashes a barrage of punches on a passenger who wouldn't stop talking to him on flight to Florida days after getting high on Joe Rogan's podcast. What a great segue into a story. Mike Tyson was seen repeatedly punching a fellow passenger on a flight from San Francisco to Florida on Wednesday night, leaving the man with a bloodied forehead. Cell phone footage obtained by TMZ shows the former heavyweight champion smacking an overeager fan in the seat directly behind him. The man initially had a cordial exchange with Tyson, but then he continued to talk and would not stop bothering him. Tyson, soon getting tired of engaging with the man, asked him to be quiet. The man continued to talk, and then Tyson threw several punches to the man's face. This man, if you go look at this story, it's not good. He looks, I mean, obviously Mike Tyson was pulling his punches, but this guy he had a bloody face.
Yeah, I mean, one punch and he probably would have knocked him out.
Who's to blame in this situation? The fan or Tyson?
I mean, if he was that big of a fan, he should have known better.
I think.
I mean, it's not like the Will Smith thing, because Will Smith, up until that point,
Right.
I mean, for many fans of his, this came out of nowhere.
Right. Yes.
I'm not doubting any bit of this story whatsoever.
I mean, it's all been recorded apparently, and
I mean, without that,
right. Here's what
if this was on Fox News,
yeah,
and Mike Tyson was a hardcore Democrat, I would still believe this story.
Here's what I say: when you're on an airplane and you overtalk, that is a criminal offense. If you ask me, that is a criminal offense. Okay, I'm a pacifist to some large degree. Okay, I don't believe in violence, but I think at some point there are some sins in life. I would not punch a man in the face, but if I was Mike Tyson, I would have punched that man in the face. I try to make that make sense. This is a guy who's had a rough life. He had a rough upbringing. He got paid to pummel people with his fist. What do you think he's going to do when the red lights are going off in his brain, okay? He's going to punch. He asked you to stop talking to him. You didn't stop. You got to pay the piper.
This isn't the guy that asked the stewardess to switch his seats.
No,
okay?
right? Yes. So I don't. Hey, you had it coming, bro. You knew what the story was. If this was just some random dude and he started punching, I'd be like, oh, that's out of control, man. This is Mike Tyson. You know this guy has a history of assaulting paparazzi. He was arrested for certain crimes. He is a guy that has a short temper. I mean, he's gotten better with age, but there's still, once again, when you're taught that punching someone resolves conflict and that person is approached with conflict, they're probably going to punch you. So this guy had it coming. He's obviously wanted this to happen, I would say, where he can sue. We'll see. We're going to watch it as it happens, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. So that was an entertaining story. The rumor is Will Smith, speaking of slapping and hitting, Will Smith and apparently his wife might be headed for a divorce, which would be just the cherry on top of a wild story. Like, unbelievable. You make this man essentially through mind games go up and slap another man, and then you're upset that he did it. Come on, man.
Is she upset?
I mean, well, maybe she's wanted out of the marriage for a long time. It does not seem like a happy marriage from the outside looking in. I'm not in it, but all right. Anyway. All right. Well, here we are. We have come to the Mount Rushmore of notable movie deaths. Now, deaths are always, to a lot of movies, a strong storyline. They can set up revenge. They can make you cry. They can really end a hero's circle. The hero's journey can kind of close out the circle. I'm sure we'll be talking about some of those. I'm sure they're all going to make the list. But John, what was your main criteria for your Mount Rushmore this week of notable movie deaths?
Part of my list, I'm still going to wing it.
Okay.
Obviously, some of them, the full story circles around it. There are some of them. There are plot points that have to happen, and there might be one or two on there. Might be funny.
I have one that's funny. I don't know if it's meant to be funny, but it's funny to me. So, okay, so we're looking at just the whole spectrum of deaths. All right. Well, unfortunately, or maybe you could say fortunately, John gets to pick first this week. So, John, what is your number one notable movie death?
I mean, I got to go with the reason for the season.
Okay.
Jesus Christ and Passion of the Christ.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the whole movie.
Okay.
I mean, well, with the exception of there's flashback scenes and stuff like that, but basically the whole movie is gone through his death scene. So.
No, yeah, it's a hardcore movie. I saw
Definitely,
saw it in theaters. Good. I mean, it's a good movie. It's a Mel Gibson biopic, and it's an interesting choice. But yeah, I guess the argument you can make that I would agree with, the entire movie is about the death. I mean, that is the payoff. Without that, the movie is just a torture flick.
Yeah.
Literally. So probably, I mean, I can't think of many others. Well, maybe Reservoir Dogs has a more gruesome death. But not Passion of the Christ has to be one of the most gruesome deaths of all time on screen. I mean, the amount of can you name another movie where a man is tortured that badly? I can't think of one like off the top of my head.
No.
I mean, you could argue well, anyway. I could pick a few, but I don't want to. They may.
I mean, there's basically what they call torture porn.
Right, like
Hostel, Saw.
Yes, true. But I don't know. This was hard. This stuck with this. This really stuck with the violence. All right. So your number one, Jesus in Passion of the Christ. All right. Well, dang it. I don't know if you're going to pick that one, but I got to pick it. There's one death scene that will always make me cry every time, no matter what. I don't care if I'm having the best day of my life, worst day. It's short, but it is it pushes the entire movie forward. If you watch this and you do not cry, if you watch this, I mean this, I'm going to say this now, and I'm talking to my brother-in-law, Corey. If I know you're listening, this man's a robot, but I would be very surprised if he did not cry as every other person did. If you watch a little movie called Up, and his wife was named Ellie Fredrickson. And when she dies in the movie Up, that is one of the saddest moments in cinematic history. This, if you've never seen Up, just watch the beginning, dude. It is one of the greatest pieces of animation I've ever seen in my life, dude. I mean, I saw the trailers for Up, and I went, this looks so stupid. This is a story about an old man who ties a bunch of balloons to a house and floats it in the sky. I went and saw that movie. My God, I was sobbing like a baby. I cry every time I watch it, no matter what. Basically, in the sequence, it shows the two meeting, falling in love. They try to have a kid. They can't have the kid. That's sad in itself. And then she gets sick, and she passes away. And my God, it's one of the most. I'm telling you, if they had, then they do. But if they have a museum of like greatest animation beginnings or just scenes, it's got to be Up. Now, have you seen this, John?
Yes, it is.
Does it bring the waterworks?
I separate the cartoon aspect because I when I first watched it, I was kind of like you. I was like, this is kind of stupid with the whole balloons and stuff. And then so separating that from what was going on, I wasn't really clued in.
It's the beginning of the movie.
I know, but like you still have that. That connotation of it being silly.
But then you find out it's not really silly because he's doing this to escape the pain of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's his entire thing is he wants to.
If I'd never seen anything of the movie and that's the first thing I thought of it, I was like, is this meant for kids? That's what I thought
I mean, I'm sitting here watching it going, is this meant for kids?
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy. But that death, that's the entire movie. I mean, that's the entire journey of the movie. Without the death, nothing else happens in it. And she never talks. I mean, it's all done through silence, and it's there's music with it. But my God, it's gripping, and it's one of the deaths that's always stuck with me to this day. And it's an animated person.
Yeah.
So that's my number one, Ellie from Up. So all right, John, who's your number two?
My number two. It took like 12 years for this death to come about, but it did, and it was the bookend of something.
Oh, here we go. I knew it.
You knew it because you knew it had to be on the list.
The hero's journey.
It is the hero's journey.
Go ahead.
You know what? And with a snap, he's Iron Man.
Tony Stark's death. And what's the movie?
Avengers Endgame.
Thank you. And it was the end game. I feel like normally you would give spoiler takes, but who doesn't know this at this point? I mean, honestly, who doesn't know Tony Stark? I knew it was either going to be Tony or Steve, right? I mean, I knew one of them had to die at the end. Like, if you're a comic book guy, you know it's got to be one of those two. I, at one point, literally thought it was going to be Steve Rogers. I was like, well, I mean, they got more products. They got Spider-Man coming out. It'd be cool if Tony Stark's in some future.
I mean, and everybody kind of knew they knew Cap was going to pick up the hammer.
Right.
Which, I mean, cinematic history, that's
what a
up
moment.
there.
We're doing that list, yeah.
But that would have been a cool arc. I mean, if you had...
Yeah. And in fact, essentially, they kind of both do die. I mean, in a sense. I mean, Captain America's not shown dying, but he's like 100 years old or whatever. But no, man, this is another one. I was crying like a baby in the theater, dude. Were you crying did you cry in movies? Like, I cried like all these, like I cried at Titanic. I'm just gonna, like, the first time I saw it, I was probably crying, but the second time, not so much. But anyway, I definitely cried at Tony Stark. I'm just being honest with you. I cried at the hammer scene, so you knew I was gonna cry with Tony Stark.
I almost was more affected, like, crying wise, by Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the very first one.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
Because there was that fear
Yeah.
in it, and Tony didn't have that fear.
Yeah, but he had a daughter, and he
The connotations and the lead up for it was worse.
That's what I'm saying. He was a good father.
Yeah.
I mean, and this was a terrible person when you first meet him, and now he's like a great dad. I mean,
the girl, his daughter's his world.
Right. He's got a wife. He's in love with her. He's got friends that he kind of screwed over, but now he loves those friends. I mean, he loves Steve. Him and Steve loved each other, right? And that was like a friendship gone awry. I mean, like, and sometimes in life you have friendships that go bad, but not like you're not fighting each other physically. But so it set up a lot, man. I mean, it set up a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd say I'm a crybaby. I ain't gonna lie. So. That's a great one. I knew it was on my list, but I knew you were probably going to get to it because I've got some others. But yeah, any expansion, Tony Stark? He started
the whole thing, and for it to end that saga,
right,
of Marvel,
okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to jump to another person that dies kind of at the end of the series, and kind of gets his redemption. And when we were introduced to this guy, he was a bad guy. And then when he dies at the end, he saves his son, which every dad wants to see. But that's Darth Vader's death in Return of the Jedi. As a child, obviously the moment when he revealed to be Luke's father was it was a jaw-dropping moment. It's one of the biggest jaw-dropping moments. If we did jaw-dropping moments in cinematic history,
that was the biggest twist.
Yes, right? I mean, but then for him to have the redemption arc in Jedi, it was crazy. Like, kids today, they don't understand it because it's been interwoven into so many stories now. That was, to me, I don't remember many bad guys having like heroic redemptive arcs back when I was a kid. I just don't remember this happening.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more. I mean, you see, Suicide Squad, that's the entire premise of the movie.
I mean, and you've got, I don't think he's on your list, but Leon from The Professional.
Right. Yeah, that's another good one.
I mean, is up there with that same kind of, anti-hero. But
yes. But turns kind of, good.
Yeah.
I definitely thought about it. I did not write it down, but it's definitely one that stuck in my mind. I'm a professional for a movie. But yes, it's a touching moment. A son finally gets to meet his father for the first time, like his actual father, because up until then he had been Vader, and now he's meeting Anakin, his father. And it's just, just seeing that his father did the right thing at the end of his life and was able to kind of continue on to the Jedi realm or whatnot. Fantastic, man. I love it. And it made Darth Vader this complete character. Before that, he was just kind of one-dimensional, and then he became this whole thing. So, yeah, him dying while Luke's holding him, unbelievable moment. Yeah. So there we go. That's my number 2. All right, John, who's your number 3?
My number 3 is... It's in a sequel.
Okay.
So that's a little curveball right out of the gate. I don't know how to set it up, so I'm just gonna spill the guts.
Is this a big spoiler?
No.
Okay, good. Okay,
it's,
go
ahead. The T-100 from Terminator 2.
Oh, nice. Yes. Did I have that on the list? I did not have that. I did not write it down, but I thought of it. That's a good one. Man, that's another great.
I mean, it's self-sacrificing. It's in very in line with Tony's death.
It's in line with Vader's. Essentially, I mean, when Schwarzenegger is revealed in the first movie, he is a bad guy. 100%. He comes back in this movie. He's essentially a good guy. I mean, he becomes a good guy more as the movie goes on. He becomes more human.
Yeah.
If you've never seen Terminator, it's about an android that comes back and T2 is trying to save the future resistance fighter that's going to save the world one day. What a great death scene. I mean, so did I cry during Jedi? Probably not. I was like a young kid. I didn't cry during Terminator, but it's an impactful scene. This is a kid. Once again, it seems if you have a kid involved in some aspect, it's going to be a lot more harder. Tony Stark, daughter. You had Vader, Luke Skywalker. You had Edward Furlong for
John Connor,
and Schwarzenegger. T-1000. That's a good one, and it's great. I mean, he lowers down into the
that thumb sticking up is
gives
the
a
last
thumbs
thing you
up.
see.
Yeah. And then he comes back again, though, so that kind of sucks. I mean, that's the only thing about Terminator franchise. If they would have just ended it after that one, amazing.
Yeah.
And then they just came out like 6 more movies. And my son recently was like, let's watch all of them. And we did. They're not as bad as I remember them being, but they're never going to beat T2. I mean, that is like...
I mean, and T2 it's one of those movies that the sequel's better than the original.
Right.
It's one of those it's almost always on one of those lists. So I mean, the bond that, and I mean even in the lore, that bond that's created in that movie is actually the downfall of John Connor.
True. Yeah, that is true.
That trust that he put in.
It's the twist.
Yeah, but it was very impactful.
Right, for sure. Ooh, okay. My number 3. God, I got so many. I don't want to do 2 cartoons, but man, there's so many I could do on here. But I'm going to skip that. I've already got my cartoon one. I'm trying to do true Mount Rushmore fashion. I'm going to go with one of the oh shit moments. This movie I've talked about many times. And this death comes out of nowhere, literally. I mean, when I went and saw this movie in theaters in 1994, I believe, it changed my life forever. It changed my cinematic viewing life forever. Quentin Tarantino, you all know the name now. You didn't know it back then. He did a little Pulp Fiction. There was a minor character. His name was Marvin. And Marvin got in the back seat of a car with 2 gangsters, and they're just having a good time hanging out. And then all of a sudden, in true Tarantino fashion, John Travolta just happens to turn around with a gun. The gun accidentally goes off, and Marvin's brains are splattered all over the freaking car. I remember going, oh my God, dude, what the hell just happened? It was crazy, dude. It was so gory. Everything in that movie was so unexpected. It was like, you've gone to haunted houses and you like that jump factor. Pulp Fiction was like, that was the entire movie. Like, I can point every scene where I'm just like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. And in that movie, for that to be one of the big, like, oh my God moments is poor Marvin. Poor Marvin. I mean, this is a guy.
They were just talking about burgers and stuff.
He's just a dude. He's trying to move up the ladder. You know, he's trying to get up to be one of the big gangsters one day, and then just an accidental gun goes off, and then you're cleaning brains out of somebody's Oldsmobile just a few scenes later. But poor Marvin. I'll never forget that guy. Is that the guy that's on Mad TV, or am I crazy? Because he looks just like him, dude.
It might be.
I don't know. But anyway, Marvin in Pulp Fiction was my truly like, oh my God, death moment where I just couldn't have predicted that. Like, I could have predicted some of these. That one, never. Watching that scene, I did not think the next scene's going to be this guy getting his head blown off in the back of a car. So that's my number 3. All right. You're up to your number 4, John. Your last one. What do you got?
I kept going back and forth what I wanted to do with this one. I mean, there are some that I was thinking about this list, and I was just...
Oh, mine's
as morbid as it could be, I was laughing out loud at some of the
my last one is a comedy one. I'm just telling you right now, so don't...
But I think I'm going to change it up. I think I'm going to grab that cartoon one that you were thinking of.
You know which one.
And, mean, we've already had a father-son duo. We'll bring it up again.
There we go. Say it.
Mufasa.
Yep, 100. I was already writing it down, brother, because that was almost where Marvin went, but I've already got a cartoon. I feel Ellie was a little bit better than Mufasa, but my God, man. Mufasa. Betrayal by his own brother. I mean, blame your brother. That's the whole show right there. That's literally blame your brother. Yeah, set it up, man. Set it up.
So, I mean... And I mean, from when the live action movie came out, it brought up an interesting take that maybe this wasn't the first time Scar attempted to
kill him,
overthrow.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah, Scar is jealous of not being able to be the king, and so he attempts to eradicate those in line, and it starts with his own brother. And so he sets it up where he tricks Simba into going into this valley and then having the hyenas set off a stampede,
yes.
And thinking that the stampede might take care of them both, doesn't do the trick. So when Mufasa gets Simba to a semi-safe place and he starts climbing up this cliff face, Scar shows up and Mufasa's thinking, oh, thank God. Oh, no.
Nope.
And Scar literally just grabs him by the claws and throws him to
Murders
his
him.
death. Yeah,
Straight up murders him. So that's just straight murder. Straight murder in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, are these I'm going to come back to this Disney Republican thing. Are these Republicans acting like there wasn't murder happening in these Disney movies, like constantly, or at least attempted murder? In Aladdin, they literally tried to murder Aladdin in the beginning of the movie, okay?
No, more, I mean, in the middle of the movie, too.
Yes, okay. Snow White, they tried to kill her. What's some other ones? I mean, Cinderella, I don't know if they were going to kill her, but that was definitely some captive situation there.
I mean, Sleeping Beauty was going to die if they didn't put that thing on her.
There you go. You got Mufasa dying, Scar killing him. You've got, look at this, man. You think this has been a pristine franchise? Now you're mad because they're like, don't say gay. Get out of here. These guys have been murdering people left and right throughout the years.
I mean, Pinocchio was rampant with drug use.
There you go, man. Party time. So, yeah, I mean, Mufasa, obviously. That's going to make a lot of people's list. It's a good one. It's a good one. All right, my last one, John. This is the funniest one. I'm just going to, I can't. I'm not going to hide it anymore. We all love Nicolas Cage. We love Nicolas Cage, right? Nicolas Cage has died in a number of his movies. I mean, he really has, more so than you think. But the best, I don't think this is done for comedic effect, okay? But when a man has when an instrument put over his head and he's just screaming, the bees, the bees, the bees. His character's name was Edward Malice in The Wicker Man. And I will never, there are so many, if you Google Wicker Man Nicolas Cage,
the scene's going to come up.
The amount of just T-shirts, stickers, pins, it's everywhere. The bees, the bees. Now, look, I can think of bad ways to die. I think the worst way for me would be to bury it alive, right? But man, the bees is pretty bad. I mean, but I guess the bees and getting caught on fire. I mean, there's not. But dude, if I ever need just to laugh, just pull up Wicker Man, Nicolas Cage death scene. It is one of the funniest. Once again, John, I'm not sure it was meant to be funny. I think it.
I don't think it was.
I mean, seriously, dude, I don't think like they played this for. Okay, here it is. Nicolas scene, death scene movie. Oh God, what is this here? Wait, is this it? Oh, yeah, okay. No, that's not it. I need the bees. We want the bees, man. I got to hear him say the bees. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Yes. Such a weird movie. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Oh, I can't.
I mean,
Anyway.
it's actually a remake.
Yeah, it is a remake. The original one was not as corny as this one. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, but.
Well, I mean, Nicolas Cage wasn't in it.
Nick Cage, he's coming out. Okay, here he goes. Okay, so setting it up. If you've never seen this movie, please go see it. But anyway, they're surrounding him and they put it's like a cage over his head, right?
Like a wicker cage.
Yes. And they're torturing him. Oh, here we go. Poor Nicolas Cage, just acting his ass off in the scene. There's bees all over his face, dude. Oh, he's dead already.
What is it? 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 Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! Eyes! Ah! Ah!
He does die from bee stings. That's literally the cause of death, John. Bee stings. He dies pretty quick, too.
I mean, oddly enough, I was tempted to put another bee sting death on my list.
I had that on my list as well, but I ran out of room. But anyway, dude.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about My Girl.
Yes. All right. So here are our list. Man, that bee scene. God, please just play that on repeat when I die. All right. We got John. So John had Jesus, Passion of the Christ, Tony Stark, Avengers Endgame, T-1000 in Terminator 2, and Mufasa in Lion King. I had Ellie in Up, Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, Marvin in Pulp Fiction, and Edward in Wicker Man. I'll just see which ones you have that I have. I had Jack Dawson, Titanic. I had Quint in Jaws. Pretty gruesome death, especially when you're like 10 years old watching a man get eaten by a shark. I had Thomas Sennett, or whatever his name is, My Girl. Captain Miller, Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan is a pretty good one. Bambi would be the last cartoon trifecta of deaths. Pretty. Bambi's mom, obviously. Edward Woodward. Oh, I've already did that one. Bubba in Forrest Gump. I'm telling you, that's pretty bad. He's like, I just want to go home. And I had John Doe in 7. Great death scene. Yeah. Great death scene. What else did you have?
I mean, saddest death scene ever, I'd probably say is Old Yeller. I didn't really want to do an animal, but
we should have Marley and Me.
That was pretty sad too.
I've never seen that movie, and I knew the dog was going to die. I remember listening to a podcast like, yeah, that was sad when Marley died. And like, spoiler alert. And I'm like, spoiler alert, dude. I mean, what are you talking about? Obviously, that's what happens in the movie, you dummy. You think the dog lives forever? All right. Anyways.
I was thinking of funny ones. Chubbs from Happy Gilmore.
I wish I'd have thought of that one. That may be. I don't know. I don't know if it's better than B, but Chubb's death is pretty great.
I mean,
Chubbs is one of the all-time great characters from Happy Gilmore.
It was. And you mentioned Titanic. That one guy that jumps off and hits the propeller on the way down. I shouldn't laugh. It's so funny.
Mine, John. I saw Titanic in the theaters multiple times, dude. Honestly, I mean, I must have seen the movie 4 or 5 times in the theater. I went and saw it with a girlfriend. I went and saw it with John. I went and saw it with somebody else. I went and saw it another time with the girlfriend. Anyway, there's a guy that when the boat starts to go downhill, it's going submerged. There's a guy that he jumps off or he falls off. And the sound effect that they put in that movie where this head hitting the metal is the most, it's so ridiculous.
It's just out of nowhere.
It's just so silly. It's James Cameron. I don't even know what he was doing there. Like, I can't imagine he authorized that. I think they just snuck that in. Like the Foley guy was like, I'm earning my keep today, brother. So anyway, yeah. But yes, death scenes are great.
Yeah.
So any more? Yeah.
I mean, there's a few, I don't think anybody even remembers this movie, but there was a movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
And Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman, was in the movie as a vampire, and his death scene is so funny and so long. Like, he just won't die. He just keeps coming back to life.
Okay, there you go.
And so it's a classic trope.
Yes.
But I think that was like one of the first ones that's ever done it.
It's good.
But, yeah.
Now, I want to say, I know we're doing movies, but one of the worst TV deaths of all time, just for this series, if you watch The Walking Dead, people have asked, I used to watch that show religiously. I was like hardcore about it. I mean, I went to the Walking Dead freaking convention. When they killed Glenn on that show, it was over. It was a wrap, dude. It was a wrap. He was one of the most beloved characters on the show. They killed him, baseball bat to the head, and after that, everyone's like, we're done with this show. So sometimes deaths can be bad in a show. There we go. All right, John. Well, that was a fun one, man. Went by fast, Hopefully you learned a thing or two, and hopefully we will hear what your notable deaths are in movies. Hit us up on social media. How do you do that? You go to our website, which is bybpod.com. You go there. It shows you everything, man. Every past episode, all of our social media links, all of our ways to grab the podcast. It's there. You can go get it. You can buy shirts. You can buy merchandise. We've got shirts for sale, hats if you want to show everyone you love the show. And, John, we also have that Amazon affiliate link.
What you do is you go to our website, bybpod.com, when you want to go shopping. I know that sounds crazy, but do it. When you get to our site, you'll see the Amazon affiliate link. Click on that, then do your shopping on Amazon. What that does is it gives us a little portion of your proceeds, and it doesn't cost you anything, but it does help out the show greatly. So if you like our content, that's a completely free way to help support us.
There you go. We appreciate it. And like I say, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, do that right now. Hit that thumbs up if you're in the live chat. We'd love to see that. Write us a review if you haven't done so on your podcast platform of choice. Be safe out there. COVID's not done. I do want to give a big shout out. I'm wearing this shirt which says drink water, love hard, fight racism. I got that through a person called Mahogany Mommies. I'll put a link up in the show notes, but she's got some great shirts. She's a black woman who does these great shirts and support black owned businesses if you can do that. Buy one for my birthday. Go support a black owned business for my birthday. But with all that being said, John, don't blame yourself. I don't even know. What am I supposed to say?
Is there anything else?
Oh, is there anything else? Jeez.
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Blaming myself on that one.